Hello, my name's Louisa from the Spellbound Bead Company, and today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful Medina Christmas bauble. This bauble is one of the Spellbound bead kits. It is available on our website with full instructions including bauble, thread and beads and everything that you need to make the two of these baubles. So first of all, we're going to get our thread, roughly about 1.5 meters of thread, and fasten a keeper bead onto the end. This just helps your beads all stay in place and not fall off the other end of the thread. So to start with, we are going to start with the foundation row of the bauble, of the beads to go on the bauble. This is the part that goes around the neck of the bauble. Whilst you're doing this, or for this, you will be working off the bauble. So to start with, we're going to get our beads. So we've got a large measure of A beads, a measure of B beads, some C beads, and we've got some facets that we'll be using as well. So to start for the foundation, we're going to thread on 1B and 4A, and we're going to do that for 5 repeats. So 1B, 2, 3, 4A. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you take all your beads down to your keeper bead, like so. We'll be working on a 30mm glass bauble, which are hand blown. Because they are hand blown, the neck of the bauble can vary in size. So to do your foundation row, you may have to tweak it slightly. Full sort of instructions are on the instruction sheet. Okay, so we've threaded on our 5 repeats of 1B and 4A. So we're just going to take the needle back through the first B bead, and we'll just bring that all together. So don't worry if your keeper bead moves like mine has. If you can, just tie it back on. Okay, so we've got our foundation ring. So what we'll do is just get our bauble and just slip it over the neck of the bauble just to see how it fits. You want it to fit nice and snug, not too tight and obviously not too loose so it's just gaping. So mine fits quite nicely. So I'm going to carry on with the 5 repeats that I've got. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to reinforce the foundation ring. So just take your needle and thread and just go through all the beads one more time. Obviously, because we're working with such a long length of thread, just take your time, otherwise you can get a little bit tangled. It's not the end of the world if you get a knot. Just tease it open again and carry on. Okay, so so you want to be coming out of a B bead on your foundation row. Okay, so there we go. So that's just been reinforced. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to start making some of the, first of all, I'll take this off the bauble so you can have a better look at it. I don't know if you can see, there we go. So we're going to be making the strands and the swags to start with. Okay, So what we're going to do, we're going to thread on 3 of the B beads, 5 of the A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 C bead, 5 A beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 B bead, 1 D bead, which is a 4mm glass facet, another B bead, 5 again of the A beads, 3, 4, 5, 1 B, and this time 7 A. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so you take all those down your thread to your foundation ring. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're just going to make this little loop at the end of one of our strands. So to do that, we're going to miss off this bottom bead and just take our needle and thread through the second bead up from the second from last on the strand. What this does, this turns the position of the bottom bead and it makes a little anchor point. So this will keep all your beads firmly in place. So what we're going to do now is thread on 5 more A beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and take it up through the B bead and all the way up the top through all the rest of the beads back to the first one on the strand. Okay, so before I carry on taking it up, as you can see, that's made a nice little loop at the bottom. So we just find where our needles come out of and just take the needle and work all the way up. So what we're going to do, we're going to come out on the first of our B beads just before the foundation row. And just so we can get our needle into position for the next part, which is going to be one of the little swags, we're just going to take our needle through in the same direction as what we were going on the B bead on the foundation row. And then we're going to come out on the first A bead of that row. And in doing that, that just gets your needle and thread in the right position. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make the small swag that sits next to it. We're going to thread on 11 A beads. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, and we're just going to take them up to the foundation row. And like we did on this one at the bottom, we're just going to miss off that bottom bead and take the needle through the second from bottom. I'm working with rather a long length of thread, but as I say, you can always work on a shorter length of thread and join your threads if you'd rather. There are details on how to do that within the instructions. So now I've changed the position of the anchor bead and we've come out from the second bead from the bottom. I'm going to thread on 9 A beads. 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. Now what I'm going to do now, we've come out from the first A bead on the foundation row. I'm going to go in on we're going to miss 2 and we're going to go in on the 4th one and through the A bead on the, through the A bead and through the B bead on the foundation row. Okay, that has made your little swag. Don't worry if it turns, they do that, but once they get onto the bauble they do sit nicely. Okay, so what we've got is our first strand and our first swag. So I'm going to show you how to do that again. So for the second one, again we'll pick up 3 B beads, 5 A, 4, 5, 1 C bead, again 5 A, 5, 1 C bead, no sorry, I've already done the C bead, back to the 1 A, sorry, 1 B bead. I'm just going to take them up just so I can see the repeat. There we go. So we've got a B bead, 1 D bead, another B, 5A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 B, and 7A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay, let's just try and move that keeper bead out of the way so it doesn't confuse you. So again, we've got our second strand. So we miss the first one off and we go to the second to last bead on the strand. Take your needle through and turn the position on that bead so it forms the anchor. Thread on 5 A beads, through the B bead and up through all the beads on this strand. Okay. So just take your time so your thread doesn't knot or get tangled. So, right, so we're coming out again on the very first bead of that strand. And to position our needle to work round the foundation row, we're going to go in the direction that we're working on. So we're going to take, we've come out this side of the B bead, we're going in this side this time, and we're going to go through the B bead and through the first A bead sitting next to it. And there's our strand number 2. So we're going to do another loop or our swag. Again, pick up 11 C or the first A C beads, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11. Okay, as before, we just miss the bottom and go through the second one. Now we've thread on 9 A beads, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're going to miss off the centre 2 of the A beads on the foundation row, and we're going to go through the last A bead that sits next to the B bead, and we're going to take our needle through the A and through the B bead. Okay, so we now have 2 strands and 2 of the swags. Now you want to do a repeat, so you've got 5 in total, so you're going to have 5 strands and 5 repeats. So if you'd like to carry on doing that, and I'll carry on with my piece, and then I'll get back to you when I finish mine and we'll go on to the next stage. Okay, so now you should have completed your 5 strands and 5 swags to go around your foundation row, and it should look something like this. Okay, obviously if you've had to tweak it a little bit, as I say, do refer to the instructions that come with the bauble. But that's how your star or your strands should look at the moment. So the next step is we're going to be doing the connections, which is this part here and this strand. So once you've done your set of 5s going around your foundation row, your needle and thread should be coming out of your B bead. Okay, so because we're going to be doing the connections, what that's going to do is they're going to connect the 2 longer strands together. So what we're going to do, we're going to thread on 10 of the B beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 of the A. 1, 2, 5. 1 C bead. 5A. 1 B bead. 1 D bead. 1 B, 5A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 B and 7A. Okay, so take all your beads up to your thread. Okay, so as before, as what we've done with, let's get that back into there. So as we've done with these, we're going to make a little loop at the end. So we're going to miss off the last bead and take our needle and thread through the second bead. As you can see, my beads haven't worked all the way up, so don't worry, you just gently pull your thread and your beads will go all the way up to the top. So we've come out of the last one, we've changed that to an anchor bead, we've come through to the second bead, and again we're going to thread on 5 of the A bead. 5. So this time, instead of working all the way up, we're going to take the needle all the way up to the up into the B beads, and we're just going to come out of the second B bead from the bottom of the strand. So we're going to first of all come through this bead to make our loop. Okay, so there's our loop. Take our needle and thread up the strand. Don't worry, you won't get your needle and thread up all in one go, so you do take your time. And we're going to come out on the second bead on that strand from the bottom. Okay, so what we're going to do now, because we want to connect this strand to this strand, so on the 10 that we've threaded on first of all, we've come through the last 2 and we're leaving the 8 there. So this time we're going to thread on 8 of the B beads. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to take our needle and thread through the 3 beads on the other side. So we're going to take our needle there. Okay, and there you go. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so we've connected our 2 strands by making a further strand in the middle. Right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to take our needle and thread through the B bead, back down through the 3 B beads on the strand that we've just connected. Okay, because now we're going to connect the strand that we've just taken our needle out from, we're going to connect this strand to this strand as we did before. So we've got our needle coming out of the first 3 that were on the original strand. We're going to add 10 B beads like before. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to put on 5A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 C bead. Just be careful. I've noticed that one's got a little dent in it. You will get some irregular beads in with your bugles. That's just the nature of the bead, unfortunately. So just have a quick look through as you're picking up your beads to make sure that you haven't got any with any like sort of chipped edges at all. So we've threaded on our C bead. Again, another 5A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 B bead. 1 D, another B, 5A, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 B, and again 7A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So just slowly thread your beads up, and again we're just going to make another loop at the end. So again, miss off the last bead, take your needle and thread through the second to last bead, add 5 A beads, and then take your needle and thread up through the last B bead of the strand and the rest of the strand until you get to the final row of B beads here. So when we get to this part, we just remember we're just going to go through the first 2 B beads and we're going to leave those off. And we're going to add 8 B beads again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to take these 8 and connect them to the next strand in the row. So we're going to go up through the 3 beads on the next strand. And there's our next connection. Okay, so if you want to finish the way around until you've got your sort of triangular connections there and the further strand, I'll get back to you and I'll show you where to go on the next step. Okay, so you should have finished your 5 connecting V points on your strands. So what we're going to do, we're just going to do the last part of the bauble. This is putting the little bugles in between the swags that we started at the very beginning. So after connecting all your V sections, your needle and thread should be coming out of a B bead on the foundation row. So what you want to do is to get your needle into position is take your needle back through the first 2 A beads on your foundation row, which should then be in the centre of your swag just there. So just bring your needle and thread through, and what we're going to do this time, we're going to pick up 1 C bead and 1 A bead. And as before, we need to make a little anchor. So we're going to miss off the A bead and take the needle back through the C bead. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take your needle and thread back through the 2 B beads on your foundation row. So you're going to, sorry, your 2 A beads, and then through your B bead. So once you come out your B bead, work to your next one, and we're going to go through the 2 A beads on your foundation row. Pick up a C bead and an A bead. Again, just miss off the A bead. Take your needle up through the C bead. And then we're going to go back through your beads and come out on the foundation row. So as you can see, your bugles will sit in between the swags. If you want to carry on and complete the remainder of your row, then I will get back to you and show you your next step. Now you've completed all the bugles that sit in between the swags, your bauble decoration is complete. So if you pop it over your bauble, you will be able to see that obviously it sits beautifully and you've got a lovely Christmas decoration, but it's not complete. We now need to do the hanging loop. So whilst your decoration is actually is draped over your bauble, what you need to do is you've got to get yourself another length of thread, around about 80 centimetres will do. Connect your keeper bead at the bottom as before. This time we're going to thread on 1 E bead. Okay, so we're going to thread on 1 E bead. We're going to go through the loop of your bauble, and we're going to take our needle and thread back through the E bead. Okay, so it looks like that. So now what we're going to do, we're going to thread on 1 B, 1 F, 1 B, 1 A, 1 B, and this time we're going to do 50 A beads. This is to make the actual loop of your hanging tassel. To make the loop of your bauble. 2, 3. Okay, so we've got our 50 A beads. So what we're going to do now, we're going to pass the needle and thread through the B bead underneath the 50 and all the way through down to the very first bead that we put on. Okay, so that has made our loop for our bauble. So what we're going to do now, taking the needle through the loop of the bauble, and now we're going to go back through and reinforce the loop to obviously make it strong enough so it can hang beautifully on your tree. So if you want to just keep reinforcing as much as you can, 2 or 3 times is plenty. Once you've finished off your loop on your decoration, make sure that you tie off your ends and trim off any loose parts of thread that's showing. Make sure that they're all securely first. And that is your bauble. I hope you've enjoyed making it. As I said, the Medina Bauble is a full kit on the Spellbound website. And once you've made it, we would love to see it. If you wanted to post it on Instagram or on our Facebook page, We'd love to see all your baubles and anything else that you've made from Spellbound.